talk some Notre Dame recruiting because the Irish are absolutely cooking. Notre Dame at number 4 in the rival on the rival industry ranking. So let's talk with Mike Singer. What an incredible run. The 4th, 5th, and 6th at the wide receiver position. You had Caden Finley on the 4th. You had Devin Fitzgerald on the 5th. Then right here on the Rivals Recruit channel, you had Braden Robinson on the 6th. Mike, what do you think of these additions, and how do they complement each other on the field?
Yeah, how about it? I mean, I was talking with my staff of Blue and Gold. We got to research the last time Notre Dame had a 5-man receiver class. There's been years past where Notre Dame wants 4 or they want 5 and they end up taking 2 or 3. One year they wanted 3 or 4 receivers and only could take 1. Like Notre Dame receiver recruiting, for the past several years has not been the strongest point of its classes. And this 5-man haul is very talented. You have 2 outside receivers in Caden Finley and Devin Fitzgerald, really good ball skills, leaping ability, can take a 10-yard, intermediate reception and go the distance. And then you got these speedy slot guys and Dylan Faison, Bubba Frazier, and then today with Braden Robinson's commitments. These guys are very productive at the high school level. Pretty big recruiting wins for each of these, beating out some big time schools. I mean, kudos to that Notre Dame recruiting office and position coach Mike Brown. This is a darn good receiver class for Notre Dame, especially getting 5.
Yeah.
I love it.
How has Notre Dame recruiting, especially at the wide receiver position? I mean, it's not just the wide receiver coach. When we talk on this channel about Notre Dame recruiting, I mean, Caden Finley, Devin Fitzgerald, especially these last 3, Braden Robinson. I mean, these guys were all at the top of the board, high priority. And we all know that in college recruiting, you offer way more than you're going to take. You got guys at the top of the board. You may or may not get them, but it seemed like Notre Dame just picked off exactly who they wanted at the position.
Yeah, we've talked before about that pot of gold day, which is usually like Notre Dame's launch point for the next recruiting class. So just this past March, Notre Dame offered like 90 or 95 guys in the 2027 class. So this time last year, they offered Dylan Faison, who committed to Notre Dame on that day. His older brother plays for the Notre Dame football team. Notre Dame was his first offer. Miami actually offered a few weeks ago, but Faison told me he's locked in with Notre Dame. Caden Finley was a pot of gold guy, and then also Braden Robinson. So we're talking 16 months ago, Notre Dame offered Finley and Robinson. And then I just want to mention real quick, when Bubba Frazier, who's like a 5'10", 165-poundish slot receiver from Georgia, when he committed to Notre Dame earlier this year, I wasn't too sure if Notre Dame would still end up with Robinson. They're very similar players on top of Faison, who's also in that like 5'10", 5'11 slot receiver range. And Notre Dame across the board at multiple positions has just been like, let's just get as many guys as we can. Like, we're hot right now. Kids want to come to Notre Dame. We're off this national championship appearance, so they're loading up 6 offensive linemen, couple tight ends, couple running backs, 5 receivers, 4 defensive linemen. I think they're ending up with 5 DBs. Like, this is a big class. Like, it's at 25 commits right now. Whew. They could end the summer at 27. This class might end up around 30.
So that leads me to my next question. What is next? I mean, we know we're big game hunting, but is there any needs left to fill? We know there's going to be some attrition. I mean, that's not a Notre Dame thing. That's just a fact of recruiting. Some of these guys that are committed are not going to be, so we can assume there's a couple more spots, give or take. So what's next for Notre Dame recruiting?
Talking to Notre Dame sources, the feeling is that this is the most locked-in class they've ever had. Now, Josh.
I believe that.
You do believe it. I believe it. But how many times have we heard that and there's still decommits?
There
senior
will
season
be. I mean,
things. Hey, I don't know if there is, though, Josh. There may not be.
It just happens, Mike.
It does.
Ever since I'll give you one. I was covering a recruitment of DeMarcus Walker. At the time, the national championship game was being played. Alabama was in it. DeMarcus Walker was committed to Alabama. He was a 5-star edge, and after the game, Alabama wins. The confetti's falling down in Alabama's win, and DeMarcus Walker flips his commitment from Alabama to Florida State. I mean, at that point, I just knew, like, attrition is not – it's going to happen. It's recruiting. It's going to happen.
Yeah. I agree with you that history suggests it. I wouldn't be surprised though if there's not any decommits.
Mark this tape. We'll see how many guys as of July 6th end up signing. And I'm not a hater. I mean, I've been very honest. You know, there's been times where I haven't been afraid to say this Notre Dame class is falling apart. I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
I agree.
Okay, so what's next for Notre Dame recruiting?
Well, yeah, in years past, like I think last class Notre Dame had like 5 or 6. Some of those drops, some of those decommits like Deuce Knight, and so. But I think at most it would be like 2. Like I really do feel like this class is locked in. I mean, Thomas Davis Jr. would be one that in years past you would think would decommit after getting the offer from his dad's school. You know, tweeting out that he's locked in with Hayes Fawcett, putting out the graphic. But yeah, July 11th. So just a few days from now, Nick Reddish from Charlotte, a defensive back who missed his junior season, but very, very talented player based on a sophomore film. He's going to announce between Notre Dame and Virginia Tech. Few other schools in the mix, but that's the 2 really we're watching. I like the Irish, and then Elijah Golden, defensive lineman from Sarasota, Florida, originally from Virginia. Notre Dame, Bama battle, it looks like. I like the Irish there. And then, as you know, these coaching staffs and recruiting offices, when it push comes to shove in the fall, like, do we want to take more? They usually do. So that's why I could see it being around 30. Is it a third linebacker? Is it a 5th defensive lineman? Is it somewhere else? Like, definitely something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, and I'm going to pencil those guys in because your picks have been dead on this offseason. I don't know what it is. I don't know if you're just able to read minds of high schoolers better, or maybe it's the fact that Notre Dame's coming off of a national championship run and they just have some momentum. I don't know. It's definitely one of the two, so just keep on making these predictions. You can't miss right now, Mike.
Josh, 28 official visitors for Notre Dame. I think in June, I think they signed 27 of them right now. That's an incredible percentage.
Yeah, that's a incredible hit rate right there on official visitors. So it's just something that's kind of unprecedented. But Notre Dame recruiting right this offseason, it's on fire. So talk to us. Who do you guys think is still the most important target left on the board? Let us know.